been a long road to the playoffs, but you're finally here. Congratulations, boys. From a neighboring fantasy league, we have a special guest.
But before we introduce our special guest, we need to recognize something. That Allentown Diggs show has been on a 10-game win streak and has taken the number one seed, earning himself a bye for the playoffs. But we can't forget Salary Cap Time, who also earned himself a bye by defeating Three Pete's Still Alive to steal the bye week from him. Dart Show having almost top 10 players in every position. Quarterback, both running backs, a tight end, one of his wide receivers, and his defense. While Salary Cap Time is looking equally as good, with quarterback, one running back, three of his wide receivers, and his defense landing in the top 10 in their respective positions this year. Now, please welcome
the GM of the team, Scare Bears. Scare Bears, welcome to the show, man.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into it. Our first matchup in week 1 of the 2023 playoffs is Three Pete's Still Alive versus OG Care Bear. Scare Bears, what's your take on this game?
So I think we're looking at three-peat here pulling out the win for the week. It's tough to compete with that running back group, and I've got some questions about Jalen Hurts and his health going into this matchup.
Okay. I mean, I think you're right on that. We have repeat running back rankings. McCaffrey is ranked number 1 in his position, and B. John Robinson is ranked number 8. Now, if you compare the two, OG Care Bear, his running backs, Rachaad White, he's ranked number 4. Pretty solid. And you got Zeke Elliott climbing the rankings. He is now ranked number 32, though. So it's definitely weak on the running backs. He's a little stronger in the receivers, but he's got Debo at 17, Garrett Wilson at 23, Scary Terry McLaurin at 34, though. Repeats looking at Jordan Addison at 24, Jacoby Myers, a surprising 21, and Jamar Chase at 5. So, strength.
I think the thing with Jamar Chase, though, could be a question mark. He's typically up and down every week, so is this a week he actually shows up to actually contribute? I do think that he's going to come out on top on running backs. The wide receivers, to me, is a wash. If Three-Peat sees any slip in production from the running backs, I think possibly the win goes to Care Bear, but I'm still sticking with Three-Peat for the win for the week.
Fair enough. But we got to look at the key matchup here. This is strength versus strength. 1v2. Travis Kelce versus TJ Hawkinson in that respective order. Kelce is number 1, Hawkinson is number 2.
Yeah, it's a good call. I think you also have to look at the matchup for the teams. Travis Kelce, even though he's edging out in projected points, New England is pretty stout and has been across all the tight end group, whereas Cincinnati has let up quite a few points to the tight end group. So a little bit more favorable matchup there, I think, on the Care Bear side. So yeah, that's a very interesting take.
That's a solid analysis. All right, let's move on to matchup number 2. Goku's father versus Staley and Telesco fired. LOL.
So this is an interesting one. So as we're getting a late start here on the review, it's very important to point out that maybe the Las Vegas Raiders possibly had one of the greatest defensive showings of the year. Ended up putting up 29 points. That's going to be tough to compete with. That puts the projection right now at 146 points for Staley. And then Goku's father is at 119 projected. So that's going to be pretty tough to overcome. I'm not sure that there's enough strength in the wide receiver group on Goku's father's team. Tua could have a big game, but I doubt it. They are going against the Jets this week. So I think it's pretty clear cut. I believe Staley's going to be pulling out the win here. And albeit I'll say it's probably not going to be close.
It's a great analysis. I was going to say the same thing about Goku's father's wide receiver group. I mean, his best guys though are Pittman, who's a great young receiver, and then
Hmm.
the surprise of the season, honestly, to me, Adam Thielen being
Yes.
such a vet that he is.
As
He's
a manager of the Scare Bears, and I'd had him for the season, the problem is his production has slipped as of late.
Mhm.
So he was a very heavy target in the beginning of the season, and he's production has slipped over the past couple weeks. He's only projected to get just under 11 points for the week. And if you're looking at the head-to-head matchup against Staley's wide receiver, he's going against Devontae Adams, who put up 24 points. So does Thielen have that in him to match that? I'm not so sure. But I think the toughest thing to overcome is going to be that 29 points from the defense. I don't know that there's much on the Goku's father side that's actually going to be able to make up that gap. So
Mhm.
I think we're looking at Staley could probably not even check his fantasy on Sunday and not have to worry a bit.
Oof. It's tough. It's tough for the guy that just squeaked into the playoffs too,
Yep.
just to get smothered in round one.
Hey, you made it to the dance, right?
That's right. He made it to
That's
the
an
dance.
accomplishment in itself.
Ain't
So
nobody want to dance, you know?
that's right. Yes.
But speaking on what you just said, if you look at the wide receiver rankings for Team Staley here, we have just in the starters, okay? We have Devontae Adams, he's ranked number 12. Chris Olave, number 18. And CD Lamb taking a huge jump to number 2 this season. And now, again, that was only the starters. You can't forget the guys that are on his bench. Right now, I mean, Diggs, it didn't really feel like he's been producing as of late, but he's ranked wide receiver number 6. And another guy, everybody knows this guy, Justin Jefferson. Yes, he's been
Yes.
injured, but you can never rule him out. Right now, he's ranked number 47, and I guarantee he was projected to be number 1 this season.
Yeah. And I'm
So,
seeing that Staley's got right now Justin Jefferson on the bench. He is marked as questionable, but I do think that would be a pretty good matchup this week for him going against Cincinnati. Cincinnati has been a little non-productive against wide receivers. They've let up a lot of points. So
yeah, I feel like their defense is just in a slump. I mean,
yeah,
they were doing great, and then the last couple weeks they just kind of been falling off. Living off the arm of the Browning there.
yeah. So I'm thinking probably smart actually to leave. I think maybe Justin Jefferson on the bench. That could be a coin flip. Either he's going to produce or he isn't, especially being questionable.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think Staley should just leave his lineup as is because it's going to be thinking a blowout matchup because of the 29 points scored by the Raiders defense. And did you ever think you'd ever hear somebody say that in your lifetime? The Raiders D would put up 29 points.
No, definitely not. And how about this guy? Probably didn't think that this guy right here would come in off the couch and score 20.7 fantasy points, and then he does it again, scoring 27 just in his last outing. That's wild stuff right there. And now we head to the other bracket, the other side, breaking on through to the other side, the toilet bowl. We have Team Scoliosis versus, he's not even trying to hide it, Rebuild Mode. Now, just scrolling through this matchup, who's a player that strikes you?
Well, not so much a player as it's going to be matchups. I think looking at the QB group, they're pretty evenly projected for points right now. You've got Justin Fields looking at just shy of 20 points and Brock Purdy just over 21 points. I'm thinking right now that that Justin Fields matchup is not good going against Cleveland. Cleveland's got a pretty stout defense. I really think that it's going to be tough for him to achieve that 19 points, especially the way the Bears have been playing all year. And then Brock Purdy, they're going against Arizona, and I know that's a division matchup, so I'm thinking that Brock Purdy is probably going to put up quite a few more points than Justin Fields this week. Thinking that the running back group is a little bit more towards team scoliosis.
Mm-hmm.
I really do think that matchup's going to win head-to-head against rebuild mode. And then looking at the wide receivers, I'd say a pretty evenly matched grouping right there. Some more favorable matchups on the team rebuild. So I think, all in all, I think it's going to be very close, possibly, but I do think Team Scoliosis gets the win this week.
Mm-hmm. Now, he's got a bold strategy, and he's kept to it all season. He's been sticking with, let's count it. Sam Laporta, 1. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 2. Jahmyr Gibbs, 3. You know why I forgot? He did have Jared Goff, but I decided to trade with him, so I took that player from him. It didn't work out for me. It's definitely working for him with Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah, Laporta's had a heck of a year.
Mm-hmm.
And a consistent year, too. I don't think you go into a week thinking, is he going to put up 20 points or is he only going to put up 5? I think it's been a very, very consistent output from him, and I think that's probably another key to victory for Team Scoliosis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I'm just scrolling through his numbers here. Just in week 13, he put up a career best. I mean, I know it's his rookie season, so season best, career best, whatever you want to say, 30 points. Look at that. How many rookie tight ends get 9 targets, 9 catches every single one, 140 yards and a touchdown? I mean,
that's impressive. And I think you also got to look at who's throwing it to him, too. I know Jared Goff's a game manager, but he does like those that tight end outlet, so there's always a chance there for him to score some points. And for a dynasty league, I think that's a great pickup. I don't see him entering a sophomore slump next year, and he'll be a big key part of that offense going forward. So yep, definitely a good pickup there. Team Scoliosis.
Now, we can't count out rebuild mode because they have 2 players that absolutely can blow up. You got Devin Achane and Mike Evans. Just when you think Mike Evans is going to have a season under 1,000 yards, he proves you wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have Mike Evans on my team, and there's weeks where I need him to produce, and he produces. So maybe that's one of these weeks being a playoff week. And Achane, he is fast. He hits that second level, he makes one guy move. He could be putting up some serious yards.
Well,
like I said, I said it was going to be a close matchup. I know the projection's not there, but I think it is going to be close this week. But I think Scoliosis gets the edge here.
I'd have to agree with you, honestly. I really do. I mean, you can't count out Kyren Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, even Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta. He's even got Barkley. So
yeah, it's important to point out too that the Lions are at home this week, so he's got 2 Lions players, and I think that that helps being a home game.
All right, boys, good luck, and don't get flushed. Our next matchup, we have Blumpkin Fairies versus the Scumbags. I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, so looking at this right now, C.J. Stroud needs to get pulled for the lineup. It does not look like he's going to be playing. He does have the option Matt Stafford. I think that essentially puts the projection around the same. Right now, Blumpkin Fairies are sitting at 104, and the Scumbags are at 80. So a couple movements. I think they need to get Josh Jacobs out of the lineup too. It doesn't look like Josh Jacobs is going to be playing. Oh, wait. Never mind. Vegas played last night, so that one's kind of stuck. That's locked.
I'm going to have to step in on that one. We don't let anybody tank in this league.
So looking at the matchup, though, I think where it is right now, if you were to swap out C.J. Stroud, it's going to be pretty close. But I think one matchup I really like right now is James Cook. James Cook has been cooking. He's had quite the resurgence here the past few weeks, and I see that continuing, especially with a change of offensive coordinators. He's definitely going to be a key part of that playoff push that the Bills are trying to make.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at his last 3 games, or 4 games even,
11 points, 19.2, 16, 25. He's
Yeah, and he
definitely
could have had a chance
benefiting.
for more. He dropped a couple balls there that could have been big yards and potentially a touchdown. But he's definitely becoming a centerpiece in that offensive scheme.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the matchup, I think you know, the Tyreek Hill matchup is interesting. They're getting a lot of points there for a projection, but they're going against the Jets this week, and the Jets have just had a pretty stout defense against the wide receiver group all year, except for the Bills. So I really think the edge here is, though, going to go to the Blumpkin Fairies. I see them pulling out the win this week.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just one more thing. The Scumbags, I mean, I think they found their quarterback of the future. I mean, to be a rookie
Yeah.
and to figure it out after basically after his bye, I would say. After the bye, he's
Uh,
been super consistent.
this is
47.
probably going to go down in history as maybe one of the greatest rookie seasons for a quarterback of all time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. All right, thanks for coming on the show. Look forward to doing this again next week, and we'll see how the matchups play out. Thank you,
Yep,
Scare Bears.
absolutely. Yeah, thank you for having me.